Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today we are going to be solving two-step linear equations. So, first of all, how do we solve equations like this? Well, we need to use reverse PEMDAS. And so normally we would, when we're simplifying an expression, we would use PEMDAS in the correct order. We would start with parentheses, then exponents, then multiplication and division, and then last but not least, addition and subtraction. But when we're solving equations, we want to do that in the reverse order. So in this case, we're going to start with addition and subtraction. That's step one. Step two is multiplication and division. Step three is exponents. And step four is parentheses. That's how we're going to solve not only two-step equations, but solving equations in general. This is going to be a useful technique we can use. So let's talk about this first example now. How do we solve for x? 4x plus 7 is equal to 31. And the goal is to solve for x, to get x to be isolated, to end up with an expression like x equals 10, or x equals negative 3, or x equals whatever it is equal to in the end, which we don't know yet. But that's our end goal. So therefore, we want to get rid of this 7, and we also want to get rid of this 4, because if those things were gone, we would know what x is equal to. Now, what we are going to do here is I'm going to start with addition and subtraction. Notice the 4 is 4 times x, right? 4 multiplied by x, but the 7 is added. And so we're going to start by subtracting that 7 to get rid of it. So I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. And then in our next line, we're going to end up with 4x is equal to 31 minus 7, which 31 minus 7 is 24. So now I have that 4x is equal to 24, now that we have subtracted 7 from both sides. It's important that when we do any sort of operation, that we do it to both sides. As long as we do it to both sides, we're in the clear. Okay, what should we do next? Well, we have 4x equals to 24, so we need to divide both sides by 4 in order to be able to cancel these 4's out and just get x is equal to 24 over 4. What is 24 divided by 4? That's 6. So therefore, x equals 6 is the final answer. So I'll box that in as that's our final answer. We can use a similar technique for example 2. It says solve for x. So again, what's the first thing we need to do? Well, first thing is addition and subtraction. Okay, so in this situation, I'm going to start by subtracting 7 again, just like last time, from both sides. If I subtract 7 from the left, it cancels out with our plus 7, which is kind of the whole point, and we're left with just x over 5. And then 15 minus 7 is equal to 8. Now we have x divided by 5 is equal to 8. So how do we get rid of a divided by 5? Well, we do the opposite action. We multiply by 5. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 5. Then what happens is these 5's cancel out, and we just have x is equal to 8 times 5, and that's going to equal to 40. So x is equal to 40. And by the way, you can always also check your answers. Let's say that you're not so sure if it's really 40. Maybe you're skeptical. Is that really the correct answer? Well, you can check by plugging in x equals 40 back to our original equation, right? Our original equation was x over 5 plus 7 equals 15. Now, is that true? Well, let's check. So let's plug in 40. Is it true that 40 over 5 plus 7 is 15? Well, 40 divided by 5 is 8, and 8 plus 7 is 15. And so, yes, that is correct. That confirms to us that answer is the correct one. So that's another great thing with algebra is you can always know if you're right. If you're ever concerned that maybe your answer isn't quite right, plug it back into the original. And if you get the same, then you're good to go. And if not, you can take a look for where a mistake may have been made. Okay, let's do one last example. This is x minus 12 divided by 4 is equal to 11. Now, in this case, because we have x minus 12 as the numerator, we can imagine that there are brackets or parentheses here because we need to figure out what the numerator is before we can divide the entire thing by 4. And so in this case, because the x minus 12 is in parentheses, I'm actually going to start with multiplication and division, and I'm going to start by multiplying both sides by 4. Then I'll get x minus 12 is equal to 11 times 4, which is 44. And then, second, we're going to add 12 to both sides, right? So we're doing it in a different order because the x minus 12 is in the parentheses. So let's add 12 to both sides second. And then we get x is equal to 56. And that's our final answer. And same thing as before, we can check that, right? We can check and see if that is accurate or not by doing 56 minus 12 divided by 4 and checking to see, is it true that that's really 11? Well, 56 minus 12 is 44, and 44 divided by 4 is indeed 11. And so, yes, this is correct. All right, well, that's it for this video. Good work, everyone, and we'll see you for the next one.